Can y'all see that? Thought I put it down low enough. We're going to find out. Let me see what that looks like on here. Nope. Still not low enough. Gotta bring it in. Okay. Make it smaller. Roger that. Okay. And Gmail. Are we at 5:30 yet? I got a runny nose today. Okay. We are. Let's get this party started. I'm still playing around with how small I need to make the graphic in order for you all to be able to see it, because this is a tight window here in YouTube. Okay, welcome to your morning mental workout. We're going to start with 3 deep breaths. Quiet the mind, regulate the emotion center of the brain so that it won't panic, because you're going to be learning new information. So on your own, inhale and exhale 3 deep breaths. Good morning again. I am Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers, daughter of Leslie Darnell Thomas, granddaughter of Arthur Jethro Evelyn II, and great-granddaughter of Levi Thomas. Today's topic is Go Above and Beyond. It is principle number 18 chronologically in the Principles of Real Leadership. And I changed the quote from the one in the book because sometimes I use that one if it's still apropos. If not, then I will update it. Since I wrote the book, I have the right to do that. And so the quote for this morning is, from here to the galaxy. That means from here to the galaxy. That's how you can go above and beyond. Now, how do we get here? Neurogenesis. That's the nice little neurons firing off at each other, and then they meet, create synaptic connections, and that is what creates neuroplasticity. You take that, you combine it with the theory of personal accountability as well as the 74 principles of real leadership, and you land at this amazing place in the land of real leaders called neuropobility. And that's your brain's ability to wire itself to use the 74 principles of real leadership to create unlimited neural pathways so that you can access your best day in and day out. And I know I say unlimited, and there are limitations to the synaptic connections. However, 860 trillion connections, that's a lot of connections. You may or may not ever get to that in your lifetime. So that's where the limitlessness comes into play. You're going to be using your working memory to do these things, and your working memory is part of the executive function of your brain. It's located in the prefrontal cortex. Working memory helps you to navigate through your day. It helps you to problem solve. It helps you to make decisions, and it helps you to grasp things that you need from your hippocampus and allows you to be able to access that day in and day out. In fact, you use your working memory dozens, if not hundreds of times every hour on the hour that you are awake. I am starting a new process as I started yesterday. And because of the amount of notes that I have and the writing that I'm doing in my neuroscience class and helping my daughter, I'm giving my hand a break. And so I've decided to go with digital notes. So should you have questions, there will be times throughout this live where I will be able to answer those questions. Anything beyond a good morning or a hello will not be addressed until I get to that point. Because right now I am the moderator. I am responsible for everything that's happening on the live that you see. I also have digital notes as well as physical notes. And that is more than my working memory is willing to do at this time, and more than I'm willing to do, especially if you are a visitor. So if you have any questions, you have the right to grab note-taking materials, write that question down, and when I get to question portions, which happens 4 to 5 times throughout the slide, you can then ask your question at that time. Do not disrupt me with your, I have a thought. Well, what about this? Because that is extremely disruptive. So think about if you were in a classroom environment or if you were meeting in a conference room, you would raise your hand and then wait to be acknowledged. And I know on other lives, you are accustomed to just typing because they are not disciplined and they do not have an agenda, but that is not how it works over here. So if you have a question, there are 4 to 5 times when you will be able to ask that question at that time. So you only have one thing to do, or two things: listen and learn. So you can jot down that question and then ask me that question when I say, what questions do you have, or if it is clear at that time. But do not interrupt me and do not consistently keep asking questions, because then you are disruptive and I will remove you from this environment and you will no longer have access to it ever again in your lifetime. Okay? With that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So the brain regions that are involved in going above and beyond. So going above and beyond means exceeding expectations. Good morning, Lola. Exceeding expectations, taking initiatives, and persisting with high empowerment and discipline. And it involves a dynamic network of brain regions spanning across both hemispheres, but especially emphasizing the prefrontal cortex domination, as well as the dopaminergic motivation circuits, and we call that the discipline or the empowering circuit. So here is the breakdown. So what I'm going to do is let you see the graphics. And if you look at the bottom, the go above and beyond, those are all of the different brain regions that you use when you are going above and beyond. So there are in fact 7 brain regions that are involved, and they are the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, the anterior cingulate cortex, the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, the nucleus accumbens, which is part of your reward circuit, the amygdala, the insular cortex, and a new portion or region of the brain that we were just exposed to today, and it's the supplementary motor area, also known as the SMA. And now the SMA is part of the frontal lobe, and it's involved in planning, sequencing, and initiating voluntary movements, particularly those that are self-generated or involved in bimanual coordination. Okay, now you have the graphic, and let's talk about it. So here's the benefits or the function. So with respect to the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, this is the planning, decision-making, working memory, sustained effort, and crucial for self-regulation and goal setting. That means you need your dorsolateral prefrontal cortex in order to make this happen. Now, the ACC, and for the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, that's bilateral, slightly more left dominant. For the ACC, it is bilateral, which means it's going to use both hemispheres, and it monitors the conflict, it detects errors, and it maintains motivation when tasks are difficult. And in this instance, it's maintaining discipline, because motivation expires, it wears off, and then you need it again. When you are disciplined, doesn't matter what's taking place, you are going to get things done. So motivation is temporary and discipline is sustainable and is not temporary, but is fixed. Next is the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, and it is more right hemisphere dominated than left hemisphere dominated. And it is emotion-based decision making, and it values alignment, and it helps assess long-term meaning and personal values. And again, I would like to reiterate at this point is that the amygdala actually has a function in the brain. Because of negativity bias, and the brain has been hardwired for hundreds of thousands of years, it is being misused. Just like money is neither bad or good, it just depends on who has it. So your amygdala is there to alert you of actual threats, of actual feelings, of actual things that are actually taking place. And when it just has that sub role, it does a great job. So it alerts the prefrontal cortex, and the prefrontal cortex processes that information and says, okay, this is true, this is not true. I got it from here. Thank you for the notification, amygdala. Okay? So what happens is it's okay to process emotions and feelings. That's the job and the responsibility of the emotion center, the limbic system, which is located in the temporal lobe. So the nucleus accumbens is part of the reward circuit, and this is also bilateral. And this happens with discipline, anticipation of the reward, and your drive to succeed. And so it's activated when effort leads to meaningful outcomes. So it's sitting right there, ready to go, ready to give you a dopamine release. It's saying, uh-oh, you about to do something grand. I promise you, when you get on the other side, I got some dopamine for you, baby. I'm going to release it, and you're going to feel great and wonderful. Yes, so I'm here for it. Now, again, the amygdala has the slight right dominance, and so it generates emotional intensity that drives the passion or the sense of urgency, especially in social reward or recognition context. So it's there saying, it's the hype person at that point. You can do this, right? I got you, boo boo. Let's go ahead and make this happen. Yes, start teaching people about the brain. This is beautiful. This is amazing. You get a Nobel Prize. You can do this, Doc. Go ahead. Go ahead. I got you. Do this. And then the insular cortex is more right dominant than left hemisphere dominant. And it's awareness of internal states like pride or guilt. And it pushes beyond your comfort zone. So it's going to say, now, I know you don't know shit, Dr. Donna, about neuroscience, but that's okay. Because you got a doctorate in leadership, so you already the shit. You just adding to what you're doing. So I understand you have not taken a college course since 2006, but that's okay because you mastered it back then. You're just going to dust off those neural pathways and you're going to be able to do it again. And it has taken me out of my comfort zone. And you've watched me mispronounce words and then learn how to pronounce those words again because of the defect that I have in my orthographic processing center located in my occipital lobe. And we understand that. And so I'm here to be transparent, to show you what's possible when you go above and beyond. You're going to experience cognitive overload. You are going to say, this is too much, I'm exhausted. And then you're going to get on the other side of all of that, and you're going to be happy that you went above and beyond. And then the new region is the supplementary motor area, the SMA. It's bilateral, and its function is that it's initiating sequences of complex tasks. And so it helps push beyond inertia. So my complex task is that I am studying neuroscience with the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. My class is synapses, neurons, and brains. And so it is definitely a topic that I am very much unfamiliar with. I'm learning, I'm failing tests, I'm having to retake tests and everything else, because this has nothing to do with anything that I've ever learned before. But my research led me to, why is it that adults can't hold themselves personally accountable day in and day out and be their best day in and day out? Because people have accused me of being superheroes and all these other things. And I'm like, no, I know that other people can do this too. And now I know that it is neurological. So it is my responsibility to learn everything about the brain, study the brain, master the brain, and teach others to do the same. That is my goal on my whiteboard and on one of the walls in my office. And I look at it every day, because that's what I'm doing. Is it extremely difficult? Absolutely. Is it as hard as hell? Yes. Are there days when I wake up and say, you know what, this is the shit. Okay, all right. I don't know nothing about this, but I will learn this, and I will go above and beyond. Because I could have stopped and said, you're just going to have to learn how to hold yourself personally accountable. And that's on you. Figure that shit out. But that's not what real educators do. Real educators understand your obstacles to success and remove those obstacles, or teach you how to remove those obstacles so that you can become your best. That's where I'm at. Hence the brain shirts. Came out as a nerd last October, and all of that is taking place because of my ability to go above and beyond. So the hemisphere roles are: the left hemisphere is logical sequencing and internal dialogue. So the dialogue could be, I should go the extra mile, and analytical evaluations of effort and payoff. And so the Ritz-Carlton has this concept called second mile service. And you can go the extra mile, but at the Ritz-Carlton, they go that second mile. That means they're going above and beyond. 6-star service on a 5-star scale. That's what going above and beyond. I am going above and beyond, because I could have taught you the principles of real leadership. We could be laughing, hoo-hoo, kiki on the lives every day. I could just tap into my stand-up comedy from the 90s and then give y'all a nice little dopamine boost and send you on your merry little way, and nothing in your life would actually change, and you would not create and new neural pathway. So I can't do that, because that's not what I was called to do. So I have to tell you what you need to do, and then you have to be held personally accountable by yourself in order to make those things happen. Now, with the right hemisphere, it's the big picture thinking. It's the emotional and social meaning, and it's intuitive grasp of impact beyond the task. So I say often, I'm the baddest motherfucker walking the face of the planet Earth. I will receive a Nobel Prize for the work that I am doing to change humanity. That's that right amygdala being saying, yeah, of course you will, Doc. You got this. Hell yeah, 2 levels up, homie. That's what you about to do. You ain't new to this. You just true to this. Watch how I teach you how to use this brain shit. You understand what I'm saying? Yes. So that is that right amygdala. When you say I'm a bad mofo too, that's that right amygdala telling you, yeah, you got this. Go ahead and do it. Whatever it is that you're choosing to do. Okay. And so now we are getting ready to talk about what happens when you don't go above and beyond, when you avoid it. And I think this will be the most interesting aspect of the entire live. But before I go into that, here is a time where if you have a question or a comment, now you may do so. Let me know if it was clear, if it was unclear. If you have an aha moment, you're like, this is very interesting. You want to think for a minute, go ahead and do an ellipse, a dot, 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 a brain, or you could go ahead and just type, it's clear, Doc, keep it going. And it's your turn. And that's still hot. Okay. Lola and Nola said that it is clear. So we're going to keep this brain train moving forward. And Mr. Hook said ellipse. So let's wait. Oh, I thought I had an earring going. Why is my ear hurting? What's up with that? They ain't going perimenopause. I tell you, who knew? So much was going on. Good morning, Regina. How do you feel when you fail a test in a class? Oh, the first time I lost my damn mind, man. My amygdala was so fucked up. Oh my God, I felt like a failure. I felt horror. I felt stupid. I felt dumb. It took me back to when I kept fucking up the PSAT. It took me back to when I studied and got a damn 17 on the doggone ACT. It took me back to having to take the GRE 3 damn times to score high enough to get in my doggone doctorate program. Oh, I felt real bad. It reminded me of the MEP test that you had to take in the 4th, the 7th, and the 10th grade, where that reading was like, and the math was way up there. I used to get them scores like, ugh. So it took me, you talk about emotional damage. Oh, I felt like shit. And then I took the next test and I got better. And I had to take one test 3 times before I got it. And so, and what happened was I passed the first test. So that made me feel good. But then the second test, I got 50 something on. And then I got 80 something. And I was like, okay, cool. But then the third test, I got a 33. Because that's where all the physics stuff was. Then I got a 66, a 61, I think. And then finally I got a 93. So I felt like shit. I felt dumber than dumb. I was like, how the fuck you got a doctorate? How you got a doctorate over here, but you can't pass over here? And I realized that back in school, if I had the opportunity to retake the test again, I would have learned the material. So for me, I have to see it often. And then I will understand, because what's interesting, and this is what I did notice now that I'm an educator, is that what's on the test is isn't necessarily what I actually need. And it's never the information that I retain. All of the information that I retain is never on the test. And I don't know who's responsible for making the test to see if you know it, but it's not the stuff that you're actually going to use. So I'm like, who made the test? I don't feel like the same people that taught it are responsible for making the test. I think they have a separate group of people that are saying, this is what you need to take away from this. And I'm saying not necessarily. And the beauty of college is that once I got into my 300 and 400 level courses, it was all blue book exams. And that's why if you look at my transcript, my GPA got higher by my junior year because I knew the answer. And throwing these other 3 answers in here has me second guessing myself. And now I'm like, well, I don't know. Well, which one is it? Is it? But yeah, so I felt bad, but now I feel better. I have a better system and it's okay. That's why they know the shit is hard. You got 10 times to take a test, every section that you have a test in, and 3 times to take the final exam, because they know it's hard. They absolutely know that this is not something that's new. And this is basically a 100 level course, but it's in neuroscience. Who has a background in neuroscience? So yeah, I felt like crap for the first time. By the third test, I was like, okay, look, you don't have a background in neuroscience. If this was leadership, if this was politics, criminal justice, or something where you even have a background in, then yeah, you should probably feel bad. But this is your first time studying this very complex thing. And I mean, it's synapses, neuron, and the brain. So we're talking about Golgi and Cajal and going down to the neural level. And it's this physics and this chemistry. And I only took chemistry. I didn't take physics. So where would I have a background? So I stopped beating myself up. But yeah, it stung. I felt stupid. And then I didn't. And there you have it, because Nola had to help me out too and say, look, you don't know this, you're learning this. And I was like, oh, okay. Because once you get a doctorate is that you think you should know everything about everything. But your doctorate is in organizational leadership. You can't make the leap to neuroscience. Ain't nobody sitting there like, so you got a doctorate in education and organizational leadership. Oh yeah, I can see why you studying about the brain. So yeah, long explanation, but that's how I actually felt like shit the first couple times. But now I don't care. Okay, so now brain effects on avoiding going above and beyond. This is the key component of the entire lecture. And I will say this, Kevin, so I'm still challenging myself. My hand still wants to write down all this that's on my tablet right now. It literally is trying to pick up a pen and start writing. So I'm over here right now overriding my natural inclination to take these three things and take notes. Like how I'm gonna take notes while I'm teaching y'all. It don't even make no sense. So challenging myself to learn in a new way, even as I'm teaching you all, is quite interesting in this moment. So it's like, write this down, write this down, write this down. It's almost like I gotta hold it so it won't start writing things down. It's amazing what the basal ganglia will do once you train it. Okay, so the brain effects of avoiding going above and beyond. So when people consistently avoid going above and beyond, the brain adapts to this pattern by, watch this, y'all, by reinforcing comfort, minimal effort, and short-term reward loops. I'm going to say that again. When people consistently avoid going above and beyond, the brain adapts to this pattern by reinforcing comfort, minimal effort, and short-term reward loops. And over time, this limits growth, weakens executive functions, and reduces discipline circuits. That sound like anybody we know? That sound like the behavior of unaccountable people? So they stopped going above and beyond, and now they are comforters, minimal efforters, and short-term reward loopers. That's what they are. And it limits their growth, weakens their executive functions, and reduces discipline circuits. That's why ain't nobody going above and beyond. That's why you got so many manufacturing defects. Kevin, that's why your favorite restaurant service is terrible and you had to go to a whole nother different place. That's why you can't find good help right now, because over time, the above and beyond is few and far between. And now you have these comfort, minimal, short-term, immediate gratificationers. Give it to me now. I ain't trying to learn all that shit. Show me a hack. Show me this. And that's why there is no above and beyond. So let's look at this right quick. And I believe, yes, in your top left corner, those are the weakened regions of the brain from not going above and beyond. So if you look at the bottom, look at all that shit that happens when you're going above and beyond. And then you go to that top left and look at what's happening. Look at it. So you're going to get a weakened prefrontal cortex. Your dopamine system is going to be down regulation. You're going to have an overactive default mode network. You're going to have emotional flattening or avoidance, and you're going to have reduced neuroplasticity. That's what's about to happen. Look at them areas over there. A doggone shame, ain't it? And now that you can see that neurologically, you're like, ooh, yikes. Didn't know that was happening. Okay, so with this weakened prefrontal cortex activation, the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex and the ACC become underused. So the thing that you was using to go above and beyond is now underused. And this leads to reduced executive function, like planning, initiative, and goal persistence. So because you stop going above and beyond, the brain is like, all right, man, well, forget it. I ain't about to executive function like Shaba. I'm saying I'm going on sabbatical. I'm not about to be a part of this. And then the brain becomes wired for just enough thinking, limiting mental resilience. So we're mentioning resilience right now, but it's a limitation. So now your brain becomes wired for just enough. And I forgot which book I was reading, but they said good enough never is. So just enough. I'm going to do just enough not to lose my job. I'm going to do just enough not to get divorced. I'm going to do just enough not for CPS to come pick up my kids, my grandkids. I'm going to do just enough not to have to be considered overweight. I'm going to do just enough not to have people come pick my house up and my car up. So I'm going to do just enough to get by. That's what I'm going to do. Just enough. And that's what we're on the receiving end of. Every day is just enough. Now, the dopamine system is going to have down regulation. And so the nucleus accumbens, which is your reward system, is going to receive fewer long-term satisfaction signals. It's going to get less of them. And so the brain begins to favor immediate gratification over long-term effort or intrinsic rewards. So instead of saying, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to work out, you're going to say, oh, you know what? But if I just go get liposuction, then I'm good. And then I can eat whatever I want. And I don't have to manage my diet. And I can just take cholesterol pills, blood pressure medicine, gout medication. And then I can just get insulin for my diabetes. And I'm good to go. Why would I change my whole diet and lifestyle when I can just fix it this way? That's going to take too long. That's going to take too much effort. Remember, I don't know if y'all had that song, when we gonna get to the good part, get down with the good part. That's what people want. And so that's why no one is thinking long term. Why would I go to college when I could just be an influencer? Everybody ain't made to be an influencer. Influencers have to work their asses off to get to the big checks. So yeah, the brain favors immediate gratification, and the result is lower drive, lower ambition, and lower persistence. That's what's happening. Number 3, overactivity in the default mode network. We know the default mode network is when we with ourselves, our personal time. It's just us, me, myself, and I. So this network becomes dominant in passive or non-engaged states. And so it promotes rumination, self-doubt, or chronic comfort seeking. Chronic. So you're just going to be thinking, man, I can't do this. I can't. Oh, no. Okay, fine. Fuck it. I can't do it. Let me go ahead and go get my favorite comfort thing of choice. Let me go play a game. Let me go sit on the couch. Let me gossip. Let me watch reality TV. Let me go indulge in some shit I ain't got no business indulging in. And so then it causes decision paralysis or low energy for a challenge. That's why people can't take the 30-day challenge over here. Motherfucking brain ain't working. You ain't challenged yourself in so long you seeking comfort. Just enough thinking. You got reduced executive function. So what I'm saying sounds like too much. That's why people keep saying, well, y'all got a book? Y'all got a book? No, I ain't got no damn book. I got some neuroputability over here. That's what we selling over here. Grandeur. Long-term fucking effort. That's what's happening. Number 4, emotional flattering or flattening or avoidance. So your amygdala, your ventral medial prefrontal cortex may become more reactive to stress or discomfort. Oh my God, here we go. So instead of managing fear of failure, the brain learns to avoid pressure altogether. So the brain like, you know what? It ain't even worth it. Ain't nobody got time for that. No, I'm not going to fail 3 tests. I'm not going to do that. Hell no. I'm Dr. Donna. I ain't got to look stupid. I'm going to go stand over here and just keep talking about real leadership, real leadership. This is the book that I wrote in 2009, and here we go. I'm not going to advance the 74 principles of real leadership. This is it. This is still magic right here. I don't need to change or update anything. And so it can lead to emotional disengagement from purposeful effort. So you are detached from it. Not going to happen at all. You're going to go, no. Or you're going to go, well, you know, it's just, I'm so busy. I'm so busy that, yeah, I'm just not going to entertain any of those new things. And, you know, yeah, ChatGPT and Grok, it's just, AI is overrated. I'm old school. Pen and paper, and that's it for me. I don't need to do any of that. What I'm doing is working. And then finally, and most importantly, or unfortunately, is reduced neuroplasticity. So you're going to avoiding challenges reduces opportunities for synaptic strengthening. You're not going to be able to do it. You are not going to be able to do it. And then guess what happens, ladies and gentlemen? the brain becomes less adaptable, less creative, and less resilient to change. So, in short, use it or lose it. Avoiding effort and excellence trains the brain for comfort and mediocrity. Shrinking circuits involved in ambition, purpose, and grit. What are y'all thoughts about that? What are y'all thoughts about that? Because I was like clutching my real leader pearls. I clutched my real leader pearls and my neuroprobability pearls. And I said, see, I knew I was a genius. Way back in 2009, I said go above and beyond. And I didn't even know it was connected to the brain. Had no idea what it was doing and not doing. I just knew you needed to do it. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Let's talk about it. Because that's the problem. That is the problem. And if I had been on my high horse and said, I ain't got to learn that because I already know what I know, I don't get to the answer. I don't get to the answer. Yesterday, Nola and I were watching something on the screen, and we were sitting down having dinner and watching it. And I noticed that her left fist, because I was sitting to the left of her left fist was clenched. And so I moved all the way to the end of her futon. And she's like, why are you moving? I said, because your fist is clenched. I said, you need to check in with your body. You need to go ahead and see what the insula is talking about. That right there means you don't have body awareness. What's going on that you clenching your fist in the middle of eating dinner? And you have avoided feelings for so long that now you're here and you didn't even realize that your left fist was clenched. That's not something I would even have recognized 6 months ago. But I'm willing to go above and beyond. So thoughts, I'd like for you to have a thought at this point and not just say that it's clear, because this right here is why when you're interacting with people and people don't want to do something, it's because they're above and beyond. Neural pathway is non-existent to the point where they are seeking comfort. They are seeking comfort and immediate gratification immediately. They got just enough. They want comfort, minimal effort, and short-term reward loops. Give it to me now. Give it to me now, baby. I want it now. Ain't nobody got time for all that, doc. You talking about some crazy shit. Didn't know why or where this emotional detachment began, but I have seen the results of someone giving up and not challenging themselves in real time, as I have seen one of my sons lose his desire to. That's why it's happening. So if you don't have motivated family members, employees, customers, clients, team members, you're on the receiving end of a poor customer experience of anything else. It's like, I'm going to stay right here in the pocket, baby. I'm going to stay right here. You're like a quarterback that's the pocket passer. You're like, nope, I need the O-line protecting me at all times. To change and grow despite having been incredibly talented person in his early 20s and now he's in his 40s. Yes. So that is what's taking place. So for the rest of you, was there a light bulb moment for you in what I'm saying? I'd like to have a discussion about this because this is important. This is the reason why you yourself experience not being able to go along. So what, ladies and gentlemen, are your thoughts about the avoidance of that? It makes sense. I will discuss more when we get to what we learned. Kevin, it would make sense that the brain is processing center for the body. So anything the body does or reactions of the body would have roots in one of the brain's regions. Got it. Okay. So moving on, we're going to the daily training plan to go above and beyond. So this training plan is to strengthen the neural circuits that support going above and beyond, grounded in neuroscience. The plan targets the prefrontal cortex, the reward system, emotional regulation centers, and enhances dopamine-driven goal pursuit. All right, and Regina said, in order to change his reality, he must make effort. This helps me to understand the reality of his life, and this is helping me have a deeper understanding of the brain and its growing or dying. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That is correct. Okay, so here is the daily plan to go above and beyond. And there's a morning routine, a midday routine, and an evening routine. And the morning routine is for the prefrontal priming and the dopamine boost. So for 5 to 10 minutes, you're going to take a cold shower or a brisk walk. And what this is affecting or brain region is the nucleus accumbens. And it boosts your dopamine and it builds stress resilience. And so I've said at the end of your hot shower, go ahead and turn the cold water on for a minute, and that will give you a similar effect. It's like, woo, okay. And the longer you can stand it. And we used to go to the Korean spa, and they actually had a cold plunge and a hot plunge. So you could go back and forth in between the two. And had really good food, and had a hot room and a cold room, all of that. They still have it. We just haven't gone. And the next thing is in the morning, you're going to do 10 to 15 minutes of goal visualization. So you're going to visualize yourself exceeding expectations for the day. Whatever you have planned, you're going to exceed those expectations, go above and beyond, second mile service. And so the brain regions that this impacts is the ventral medial prefrontal cortex and the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. And so it enhances motivation, emotional salience of your goals. And then the last one for the morning is that you're going to do this for 5 minutes. Write one stretch goal for the day beyond your job task or description. So beyond what you would normally do, you're going to write a stretch goal. And for me today, my stretch goal was to keep using my tablet to read from this and get through the live without writing any of the notes down, because even my hand right now wants to go on this piece of paper to my left. So that is my stretch goal. Get through this live without writing down anything from the things that I've reviewed this 3 times already, and my hand still wants to write this down. So that is my stretch goal for today. Midday reset. You're going to focus and you're going to have discipline refresh. So for 10 minutes, you're going to walk in self-talk. I'm wired to rise above. And you can exercise, you can stretch and self-talk, because I know it's hot as hell here in Las Vegas. Yesterday, when we got home at 6 o'clock, we were already home. No one went to take trash out. It was still 111 degrees at 6 p.m. So I ain't saying go walk out in this heat. If you have a gym membership, treadmill at home, you could go walk in a cool place, walk in the mall with some AC. I'm saying you could do some other activity where it's just you and your BMD. Default mode, DMN, default mode network. So you're going to walk and self-talk. I'm wired to rise above this. The brain regions is going to be the left prefrontal cortex plus the ACC. And what this does is it rewires internal dialogue and reinforces proactive identity. Remember, your personality is located in your prefrontal cortex. And so when you spend time in your DMN and not daydreaming, but actually self-reflecting, now you're sending those messages to yourself. Because as we discussed a week and a half ago about the left amygdala takes in all the words that you hear and see, and it will just keep ruminating. So you have to bypass that with some different words. And by wiring your brain to I'm going to go above and beyond, the left amygdala can come back with, well, in the 8th grade, your sister said that wasn't shit, and you ain't shit. Override that, prune that neural pathway, and create this new neural pathway. And then after that, for 15 minutes, you're going to have a micro challenge. So you're going to do a hard task first or help someone else unasked. Okay. So I have told you all a bazillion times. I work in Nola's business, number one, because when she first started, she didn't have a driver's license. Number two, because it helps me be physically fit. We have been sitting down for 2 years plus COVID because of homeschool. And so we were not in the best physical condition. We did do some walking, but it wasn't enough. And so I'm there every day. Today we have 3 appointments, and all 3 of them are going to be hard for me. They're not going to be hard for her, but they're going to be hard as hell for me. So remember when we started, I'm a germaphobe and I don't assemble stuff. We started in February of 2021. Don't know if you all remember, but we were on lockdown for COVID. Okay. So we're going into people's house we ain't never seen, don't know nothing else. Got to go to trash cans and everything else. And we're going to assemble shit. Excuse me, what? Yes. So that's above and beyond because this is me challenging myself. And we rarely have a day when we go and get to the end of the day and I go, you know what? That was simple. I got that. And there's always some new thing because furniture companies keep redesigning things so they will change how drawers are built. We will be in a tight space. The other day, I had to hold a treadmill up in the air for, I think it was 8 minutes while she was putting the hydraulic part on it. So I'm leaning forward, holding this for me, very heavy treadmill up while she's putting all these different screws on it so that the hydraulicness could really work. So there's always something taking place where I am helping or doing a hard task. I wake up, I start studying the brain. Then the rest of my day is kind of routine until I go on appointments with her, being on this live with all this stuff going on. So I'm constantly going above and beyond. Every time I'm in my neuroscience class, above and beyond. So what brain region this works with is the SMA, and that's the supplemental motor area, and the amygdala. And what it does is it builds the reward circuit and it triggers pro-social dopamine. And so now I feel rewarded because 8 minutes, that my arms, my stomach, I told y'all I gotta have strong abs because this one right here, she swear I'm not 52. I was sweating. We was in the guest house, the casita, and so was holding it up. But because of how she had to put the bottom on and then the screw, and then you had to unscrew this other things, it was intense. It was definitely intense. So that's that. Then you have your evening routine, and that's the reflection and the neuroplasticity. So reflect so you for 5 to 10 minutes, you're going to reflect. What did I do beyond expectations today? What did I do beyond expectations today? And the brain region that this impacts is the ventral medial. The brain regions are the ventral medial, prefrontal cortex, and the ACC. And the benefits of this are that it reinforces growth through self-assessment. So if you get to the end of your day, you haven't learned shit, you haven't challenged yourself, and you haven't gone above and beyond, it wasn't a good day. It wasn't a good day for your brain. It was not a good day for neuromobility. You say, fuck it, I ain't gonna do all that. That's doing too much. No, you got to hold yourself personally accountable. Get back up. Go do a hard-ass Duolingo lesson. Watch something in a foreign language. Go do some push-ups or something. Do something that's above and beyond. Cook dinner for your family. Do something that's going to take you out of your doggone comfort zone. And then 10 minutes, you're going to write one area to improve next time. So what do you need to do? When I'm looking, sometimes we have so many things we have to do at an appointment. Like we had drawers to do at an appointment the other day, and there were these different drawers that I had never put together before, but Nola was dealing with the frame. We had 2 dressers to put together. So I put those drawers together. And I had never put those drawers together before. That was above and beyond for me because she was like, you put the front on that door? I was like, yeah, I got this. And so instead of using a hammer, she told me to get her other small rubber mallet. And I think it was an 8-drawer dresser. Those drawers, because they're different, it was IKEA. And so IKEA has several different types of dressers. And sometimes how you put the size on the drawers are different. And those were ones that I have never been successful in doing. And I put all 8 of them together. So that was a win for me. So it strengthens the executive feedback loop. And that's in the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. And then finally, 5 minutes in the evening, you're going to do a gratitude note to someone who exceeded expectations. And so for those of you, when you are in challenges, I will put things, sometimes it's just like, hey, you did your thing. And then I will tell you if you've done something that's related to a principle or real leadership, provide you with some type of context that you weren't even thinking about. That's where that's coming from. And so what happens is it's for the right prefrontal cortex and the amygdala, and it boosts emotional regulation and models above and beyond behavior. So I'm telling you when you went above and beyond. I'm telling you these are the principles of real leadership that you used. And for those of you who have received those emails, you can chime in. Maybe you knew, maybe you didn't know, but you potentially thought you were just doing something. And I'm saying, no, this is the principle of real leadership that you use. And here are multiple ones. Sometimes you get 1, sometimes you get 10. And here you are just minding your own business, thinking that you were just doing business as usual, but you were actually going above and beyond and strengthening those neural pathways. And so the bonus weekly practice is this, that once a week you deliberate discomfort zones. So you volunteer, you do a cold outreach, or you speak up when it's uncomfortable. And so I do this daily. However many appointments we have, I end up doing that daily, multiple times a day. And it trains the amygdala to tolerate pressure and activate courage circuits. That's what it's doing. It's saying, I can makes the impossible possible, and I am going to be courageous in doing this. I'm going to put these drawers together. I'm going to tell somebody, don't order that because that's going to look hideous in your living room. You need to put the bed on this wall instead of that wall. Feng shuily, this is not going to work. I do that, and I do it often. And yeah, and then two times a week, you're going to have high effort physical workout. High effort physical workouts. And every time we do something in Nola's business, we are having that. And so what it does is it stimulates the BDNF, that's your brain derived neurotropic factor, and it boosts your neuroplasticity. Okay, what questions do you have about the daily planning activity, why it's important, and what you need to do to continue to do it daily? So your above and beyond is not based upon, well, you know what, I'm gonna do my above and beyond on the 16th of every month. That's only 12 above and beyonds a year. That's not enough. When there are 365 days, 366 during leap year, 12 is not enough. It needs to happen daily, because otherwise you are avoiding it. And this is what's happening when you don't go above and beyond. That's what's taking place. So you are either seeking comfort or courage on the daily basis. That's why it is so important to do it. Any questions or comments? If it's clear, I will finish up with the benefits. Got to have benefits. Brains with benefits. Used to have friends with benefits, and now they call it situationships. So now you need brains with benefits. I'm looking for brains with benefits. If it's clear, I can keep on moving, don't stop. Whoa, keep on moving, don't stop like the hands of time. All right, here we go. Here are the brain benefits of going above and beyond. Grounded in neuroscience, when you regularly push past expectation, your brain undergoes powerful structural and functional upgrades that enhance cognitive, emotional, and discipline capacities. So if we look at the top right hand corner, and I got to get the graphic, I got to push it down just a little bit more so everything is in screen, because I'm saving the graphics for the Real Leader Brain Instagram page so that you'll be able to see, but it's really choppy and shorty over here on YouTube. So in the top right hand corner are the brain benefits of going above and beyond. And here shortly, all of these will be on the Real Leader Brain Instagram page. So you will be able to go there, take screenshots. I just want you to see that graphic, because remember, I thought I was going to be able to use 3 graphics, and then YouTube told me you can't keep going in and out and changing your green screen. So this is the alternative for that. And I know that was teeny tiny for us who already wear readers and glasses. So the brain benefits of going above and beyond. It strengthens the executive function, dorsolateral prefrontal cortex to be specific, and it improves planning, decision-making, and your focus. It increases your brain's ability to handle complex tasks. The 2 days, I said this yesterday, for a week apart from each other, Nola had to put something together that was literally in Chinese and the manual was incorrect. And it boosts self-control and reduces procrastination. And we know we have that 1 minute start rule. When you're trying to procrastinate, start it. 60 seconds just to start it. That gives the brain enough time so that the right amygdala will shut up and not know that it's happening. And then you can continue on to do what you need to do. Number 2 is it enhances discipline and rewards circuits. So the nucleus accumbens and the dopamine pathways. So it's going to train your brain to crave effort and mastery. It's going to train your brain to crave effort and mastery instead of comfort and convenience and immediate gratification. You're going to be looking for a way to go above and beyond, because the dopamine gonna say, oh shit, we about to learn about the brain. Here you go, doc. Here goes some dopamine. What? Yes. And so it builds sustained dopamine signaling, not just quick rewards. So I get to have this sustained release of dopamine because I'm going above and beyond every time. So I'm not looking for that quick fix. Okay. It's not happening. And it increases your drive, your persistence, and your willingness to take initiative. That's what it keeps doing. So I used to all, when I was in the Army, I'll take the additional duty. I got it. I got it. Send me. Effrcts. I'll go to the training. I'll go to the training. I got it. I got it. And I just keep getting better with time. More dopamine, more above and beyond, more above and beyond. And because be the best is one of the 74 principles of real leadership, I master it and I move on. I master it and I move on. So when someone is coming behind me, I can say, oh, I already did that. When I did that here, this is what you need. Read this book, do this, go over here, take this. And now you got it. And now you don't have to wait and try to figure it out because I said, this is what you need to do. Now you just do it and you take it and you go above and beyond. It works out. It's paying it forward. Number 3, it improves emotional resilience. So the amygdala plus the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, it builds tolerance to stress and pressure. It builds tolerance to stress and pressure. I promise you, there are so many times when Nola and I start at an appointment and we have other contractors there, we will be the first ones there and the last ones to leave. Why? Because we're doing the most. Those contractors come in and do their one thing. They put a toilet in. They fix the bathroom cabinets. They do a couple ceiling fans with lights and they're gone. We the ones doggone building every last piece of furniture in the Airbnb, mounting TVs, mounting curtains, feng shuiing, cutting down boxes and everything else. And they're like, well, what about this? Okay, put that desk there. Giving them advice about where everything needs to be. So we are there much longer, and that gives us the ability to work in stressful pressure situations. We're there after the walls have been painted, the curtains are down. I mean, the carpet is down, the flooring is done. And now we got to, okay, we can't scratch shit, can't do nothing. And so they call us in when it's time to do the dirty work, the hard part, to make it look pretty. And it strengthens emotional control and self-confidence. So you're going to regulate your own emotions by going above and beyond. And the self-control and the confidence. And it's going to reduce fear of failure or rejection. So Kevin, you asked earlier, how did I feel? I felt bad, but it was a short period of time because I had so many more times of succeeding. I just remembered you failed your driver's test. When did you fail and then you passed? When did you fail? I failed the third phase of air assault school and went back and passed. So I went back to my past failures and said, you finished, you succeeded, you got the certification, you got promoted, you got the degree. So this is just part of it. And failure is part of success. And so much so that the other day, and I said this, we went to go do our IKEA day bed. I think it was the Hemnes day bed. And I took everything out the box. Nola was downstairs mounting curtains. And she came upstairs and she said, is this all the pieces? I said, yeah. And she said, oh, yeah, that's it. Why did it take me so long to do this? Because at that time, that's where you were. That was hard for you 2.5 years ago. And now this is a cakewalk. This is a light day. Today, we have a light day. We have a love sack, a TV stand, and mounting one television. We call it out a light day. It's probably 3 hours worth of work, maybe 3.5 because of the love sack, because of the boxes, but it's going to be a light day. So when you go above and beyond, and then you come back to things that would throw other people, the last appointment is different. Okay, it's not mounting the television. Okay, got it. That's the notification that I had. I already put the notes in my purse. Anyway, at any rate, the point is that it's a simple day. It changed last night. Okay, so it might not be a simple day for the third appointment, but the first 2 appointments are one thing, and we're going to be in and out of there. So we will have breaks throughout the day. And it's because we've done so many things. Because I think the most we've done in one appointment is we did 40 chairs at a restaurant in 8 hours. So the chairs that they sat in at this vegan restaurant, we did all the chairs at the tables and the bar stools. I think that's the correct amount. She will correct me if I'm wrong. But when you got to go do that, and then you do 28 chairs at a different business, you're like, yeah, this ain't that bad. We already did 40. So that's that above and beyond, pushing yourself past what you think is possible. Number 4, it optimizes self-monitoring and error correction for the ACC. So it sharpens your ability to elevate your own performance. That's what we do every single day. I can now look and listen to people when they're supposed to be talking about the brain and say, you ain't say shit about the brain. You ain't said nothing about the regions or nothing. You actually don't know what the hell you're talking about. And 6 months ago, I would have thought that they knew exactly what they were talking about. And it helps you catch mistakes early and adapt quickly. and it fosters continuous improvement behavior. I am a continuous improvement master trainer thanks to Frito-Lay. And so I took that information and I have been continuously improving. Probably was doing it before, but just didn't know the name of it. And I continue to improve. If you look at the lives from when I first started and the information that I was presenting versus today, continuously improving, because today is day number 619. And then number 5. Oh, wait, no. Okay, we got 6. Okay, 6. So you're going to boost your neuroplasticity. Engaging in difficult, novel tasks increases your BDNF. It promotes brain growth and adaptability and makes it easier to learn new skills and form better habits. Because I have been learning, imagine if I just took my degree and my thinking cap and put it on the shelf in 2008 when I graduated. When now I'm in 2025, I haven't used my brain. There is no neuropability. There is no, oh, let me put all of this together and now let me learn how to use ChatGPT and Grok and think about, I got 5 communication certifications. I sat through 6 weeks of CAS-Cube, which was nothing but PowerPoint presentations in the Army. If I hadn't done all that, then I can't present this information to you that's quite boring and dry in a way that's easily for you to understand and keeps you engaged. So because I have been consistently doing that, this is what takes place. Okay. So it makes it better for me to learn new skills because now all I have to do is learn about the brain, because I didn't go, oh, no, I'm not going to go get my doctorate. No, I'm not going to go do no advanced learning and all of that. No, and it was never convenient for me to go back to get the master's or the doctorate. I didn't have like, oh, I got 2 years. Oh, I got 5 years. I could just go back to school. That's not how it took place. Number 6, it activates meaning and purpose circuits. So the ventromedial prefrontal cortex. So it links daily effort with your deeper values and your goals. And it helps sustain energy over the long term. I am in my 11th year of reading a book a week. And I don't know about y'all, but that's a long ass damn time to be picking a book once a week and reviewing that book, making a video and putting it on your YouTube channel. You could get, you could be thinking up a different theme and why we're going to do this and how is this different from last year, make it different from every year from before. That can be, emotionally draining. And so it aligns your identity with excellence and contribution. So people know, and they ask us all the time, can you learn how to, do you know how to, I was thinking of putting some center beams in the ceilings. You think that's something that y'all can do? No, she can't go a week without somebody saying, is this something that you could do? I sure wish y'all knew how to do electrical. You know how to do. And that is why NOLA is switching to teach contractors how to be 5-star contractors, because we're not doing no electrical shit. We're not painting and we're not doing no plumbing, because I am not going to be dealing with shit for real. Not changing out no toilets or nothing, ain't doing nothing in the ground, none of that. Anyway, the whole point is that it aligns your identity with excellence and your contributions. So in summary, going above and beyond isn't just impressive. It rewires your brain to be sharper, stronger, and more resilient. It creates a feedback loops of excellence. So you have effort, growth, reward, discipline, more effort. And that's the loop that you keep enacting every single day. I'm going to say the summary again. Going above and beyond isn't just impressive. It rewires your brain to be sharper, stronger, and more resilient. So what questions do you have about, and I will go back to the graphic. I know it's tiny, but it's in the top right-hand corner so that you can see what's taking place for you neurologically. If it's clear, let me know, and we will do our brain bit and do our 2 questions and go ahead and get on up out of here. I'm back, and it's an itchy allergy day. Okay, So the brain bit for today is this. Every minute, 750 to 1,000 milliliters of blood flows through the brain. This is enough to fill a bottle of wine or a bottle of soda. So it ends up being 33.814 fluid ounces. Every minute, 750 to 1,000 milliliters of blood flows through your brain. This is enough to fill a bottle of wine or a bottle of soda. 33.814 fluid ounces. That's what's happening in your brain with your blood. All right. Regina said, benefits to the brain and the person are positive and helps the person become more developed. Continuous growth as opposed to stagnation. Yes, ma'am. That is 100% true. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We have come around third. We are sliding into home. And the two questions on the table today are, what did you learn today? And what did you learn about yourself? And remember, if you are thinking ... a little brain, a emoji, just let me know that you haven't had to step away and that you are still present. And for the looker likers and listeners, what brings you here this morning as you have not contributed neurologically to your own growth and development? Why are you here today? Nola said, I learned the more you don't go above and beyond, the more you seek comfort and get lazier and lazier. Yep. And comfortabler and comfortabler. Yes, ma'am, I can. Lola, the brain bit for today is this. Every minute, 750 to 1,000 milliliters of blood flows through your brain. This is enough to fill a bottle of wine or a bottle of soda. It's 33.814 fluid ounces. Every minute, 750 to 1,000 milliliters of blood flows through the brain. Please let me know if you have it, Ms. Hyman. All right, Nola, I learned about myself that the more you go above and beyond, the more you crave to go above and beyond. Yes, because that is sustained dopamine. And so it's saying, all right, you ready to go above and beyond? We didn't go above and beyond. Thank you, Lola. My pleasure. You ain't go above and beyond. You ready to go above and beyond? What the hell is wrong with you? You know you ain't went above and beyond. Now, Regina has said, I gain insight into why people become comfortable with not going above and beyond. This is indeed neurological and seductive. Yes, ma'am. And that's the interesting thing. So as I read this, because now I have to reread and reread again because of the digital. If I wrote it down, I would have it. But because it's digital, I got to process it differently. But this is creating a new neural pathway for me, and it's taking me out of my comfort zone. So I will continue to do this. The most important part for me, as I said, was the avoidance. Because I need to know why people aren't, so I can tell them how they can. So people are saying, I can't. So I have to understand their can't. So then I can explain to them from an objective, factually based perspective, here's how you can. Because can makes the impossible possible. Turn your can't into a can and your how into now. I need to be able, as an educator, to explain that to people that it is happening up here and this is what's taking place. So that they can, you don't understand my struggle, Dr. Donna. You don't understand. I got trauma. Dr. Donna, that trauma ain't got shit to do with you being lazy. You failed once and you said, fuck it, I ain't never trying again. That's why you ain't got no above and beyond. Problem is, you ain't got no above and beyond. I'm about to make that a problem is. I'm writing on the post-it right now, so this does account for the notebook. And that's the beautiful thing, because like I said, I could be stuck in my little real leadership bubble and I would just be blaming people and not seeking to understand and then be understood. That's why you have to grow continually and challenge yourself and face that test anxiety. So I can get this information. And also think about it this way too, ladies and gentlemen. I was stuck as searching on Google and I had ran through very well mine. And if I had to continue to listen to the unaccountables talking about AI is bad, okay, great, Regina, have a great rest of your day because we're about to go. AI is bad, AI is cheating, then we wouldn't have this information. We wouldn't have these beautiful graphics or any of these things had I listened to those people who were unwilling to grow. So you have to see things for yourself. And Regina said, I learned about the daily plan above and beyond. This is exciting because now I have concrete ways for becoming better, both in terms of my brain and parenthood. Okay. Kevin, today I learned 2 things. It's okay to process feelings and emotions, and some days something will make you feel like shit. Dr. Donna. Yes, it will. It will definitely make you feel dumber than a box of rocks. And Lola, do you have any learnings before we go? This was very good for me. And again, provide coaching. And I say that in my book, when you coach and teach others, you're going to learn something too. And now I have more reasons to understand why I will encourage people strongly to go above and beyond. I learned why people are in their comfort zones and part of the brain they used. And I learned what to do when my fist is in a knot. Yes, got to breathe because there's some type of tension going on somewhere. So you got to understand where that tension is coming from. That's self-awareness, and that's happening in the I was about to say in the peninsula, in the insula. So when you grew up with a peninsula, you will use that terminology. That is correct. So this is very beneficial. Definitely. Now you can understand why people are the way they are, and you don't have to listen and say, "Oh, that's just the way they are." Nope. Let's look at it from a neurological perspective. What is happening neurologically to make someone behave physiologically in that manner? And hence, that's why I'm going to get a Nobel Prize. And for the lookers, what did y'all learn today? Because y'all here. Or are y'all the ops? Do y'all work for somebody else and y'all trying to steal my shit? No, y'all not doing that. Never that. One dropped off. She found out. Just tell them, if you are here taking notes for somebody that you work for, tell them to start actually naming the parts of the brain. Don't just tell them to go ahead and challenge themselves and go above and beyond and actually say ventral medial prefrontal cortex. Okay, if you're going to steal it, steal all of it. Take the whole kitten and caboodle with you when you go back to them and have them practice it. There's plenty of YouTube channels out here that will teach you how to pronounce all of these words. So I'd like for them to do that, because at that point, they would actually be teaching people about the brain. So if you're going to steal it, borrow it, make it seem like y'all doing it, give it all to them. And because no one is commenting, you know that's exactly what they're doing. And when you spell my name, Dr. DonnaThomasRodgers, if you go ahead and give credit where credit is due. All right, myself, I now understand what's mentally happening when I go above and beyond and why I enjoy the feeling. Yes, that is correct. JTC, I ignored your message the first time because I'm curious as to why what I am currently doing would give you any indication that I would be willing to do something from 9 years ago regarding something that I no longer do. So if you can help me understand, based upon if you stuck around for this whole time, I am currently talking about the brain and neural ability and my whole thing. What would make me so inclined as to do something like that? Why would I stop what I'm doing to do that? What about today's presentation said that that's an idea that would bode well for me? Why would I do that? Well, if that is the case, then Neil Breen is the one that you should be speaking with, because that was his movie. So why would I participate? That's the part I'm not understanding. What would be the benefit for me to talk about a movie that I didn't make, I was a part of, but it's not of my choosing? He wrote the script, he told us what to do, and then we did that. I'm the most liked character in all of his movies. Kevin, would you like to chime in? You saw a clip from that movie. Nola, I cannot believe, of all of Neil Breen's movies that he has made, that Dana is the most liked character of all the movies. That is unbelievable. That shit is funny, JTC. I am the most liked character. Why is that? Please do tell. And for those of you who have to go ahead. And for those of you who don't know, I was in a feature-length Neil Breen cult classic pass-through film. And while JTC is telling me what a great job I did, initially I was only supposed to have, because Dana was fucking awesome. Okay. So initially I was only supposed to be in the one scene, JTC, when the women are in the room, and I didn't have that many lines. And what happened is the two gentlemen that are in the movie, in the scene where we're holding those weapons, they didn't have enough chutzpah. So at that point, Neil decided I was going to have a bigger role. And so then I was more throughout the movie, but I was only supposed to be the mother of the human traffickers at the house, telling them that you ain't going nowhere. But all of that, I own you. Don't even think about breathing without asking me. That was all me. So yeah, me with the grandson and the grandmother out in the desert. Yeah. So, that. So it has become a cult classic. I see. Okay. I didn't realize that. Yeah. And why do people want to hear from Dana, JTC? Because Dana was fucking awesome. Got it. Okay. You can message me, JTC, on Instagram. I'm the Turnaround Doctor on Instagram, and I will think about it. How about that? I will check with my small counsel and think about it. Kevin thought it was terrible. He was like, oh, it was horrible. Why did you send this to me, Dr. Donna? But for those of you who are here and want to see it, just do Dana, Neil Breen, pass-through film, and you will see it. Yeah, you got the insight. Anyway, so ladies and gentlemen, I, Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers, will be back, God willing, higher power in the universe, tomorrow. Same time, same place, different brain t-shirt, safe space, if I didn't say that. And we will be, tomorrow's Wednesday, so we will be Wired Wednesday. So make sure that you have your secondary device for you to be able to participate completely, fully. Thank you for your time and investing in your neurological pathways and building your neuromobility today. You all go off and have a brain-tastic day. Take care. Adios.